got to teach you this stuff, so I need to know what I'm talking about. And the reason I know what I'm talking about is because I've been where you are before. I've been through struggles, I've been through good times. And now hundreds and thousands of my students do the same, some better than others. But what stays constant is the system. The system doesn't change. What changes? The mindset, the approach, and the action. The level of desire, the level of how hungry you are, how bad you want it. And I know much of this may sound like a motivational speech, but you ain't going nowhere without motivation. You're not going to move without the right motivation, without the right level of desire. And the level of desire will determine, one of two things will determine your level of desire. How bad you want it and how far you're going to get. Is either how painful it was or is. Like in my experience, being homeless was really painful. Fuck that. Don't want to do that again. And I keep that as my reminder, not to attract it again, but to use the fuel from it to push me forward. That's approach number one. And you combine it with approach number two, which is you set goals and desires and you architect a lifestyle that's so exciting and so much fun and so awesome. And you share it with your spouse, you share it with your kids, you share it with your grandkids, you share it with people who will be impacted by it, who will support you and push you and motivate you and come along the journey. And you make that so compelling. So now you're getting pushed by that and pulled by that, you're going to move. And if you amp this and amp that, you're going to move faster. And then it's a matter of staying focused. Focus on what, Borino? Leads, appointments, listings. L-A-L, L-A-L, L-A-L. That's your business. That's your business. Getting leads daily. Following up with those leads to get appointments daily. Going on appointments daily. There was recently a post here on Rockstars where an agent goes on a listing appointment. Well, let's see if I can pull it up. So listing interview went really well, or so I thought. I received a message a couple of days later that they've decided to work with a different realtor. Happens to everyone. There's a whole bunch of people who chime in. There were like 15, 20 different comments. Some people say, yeah, it happens to me, it sucks. No, it didn't happen to me, whatever. So here's the problem that I see, or opportunity, or whatever we want to call it. Number one, if you have one listing appointment every 14 days, do you think your presentation will be different than if you have 3 a week? Now, do you think Annie has 3 listing appointments a week? Would this be such a big concern or a big problem, or would she simply ask, you know what, I did one of these listing appointments and surprisingly, I didn't get the contract signed at the end. What do you guys do different? As opposed to, oh, tragedy. Oh, no listing appointment, they selected another agent. See what I mean? Now, I'm not trying to mock Annie or anyone else. It happened to me more than I'm willing to admit to you guys. I was a big failure in this department for a very long time until I figured out what the fuck I was doing wrong. But, first of all, if you have 2, 3 listing appointments line up every week, would one of these create a real tragedy, a problem, something that you wanted to share with the world and commiserate, or no, right? You get some, you're not going to get some, you keep going. So the first indicator there's a problem is, and first thing I would advise Annie and everybody else is, just get more leads so you can get more appointments so you're going to get more listings. So if one doesn't work out, which that will happen, it's not the end of the world. You don't take it so seriously. It doesn't mean much. You just keep going. But be honest. When I say 3 listing appointments a week, how many of you had their drunken monkey go, oh, impossible, 3 a week? That's not possible. Not in this market. Not in my area. My area is different. My market is different. You know what's different? Your thinking is different. Your mindset is different. And consequently, your funnels, your system is different. No bueno. Are you following the logic? That's simply an indication of lack, scarcity, not enough. Are you with me? So step 1, evaluate your mindset, get more leads so you can get more appointments, so you get more listings, so you don't have to worry about it too much. 2, evaluate why did they choose another agent? What is the real problem? And I'll tell you what the real problem every single time. It's always the same thing. They found another agent that had more credibility, more authority, and trusted and liked that agent more. Simple as that. Now, they will explain it in many ways, and they will not be able to verbalize and actually explain the real reason. They're civilians. Don't expect them to. It's not their job. But you as an expert need to understand. Another agent created deeper connection, established more credibility, more authority. In the eyes of the seller, that other agent became a better choice. Through good first impression, good follow-up, and a flawless listing presentation. Every single time. You want more listings? Fix the follow-up so you're established as authority and credibility, and deliver a rock-solid listing presentation where at the end, they're excited. They're like, fuck, this is such a relief to find somebody who knows what they're doing, who can be trusted. We feel so good to be in your hands. And clearly that didn't happen at the end of that presentation. Ask yourself why. If you're not turning these appointments into listings at the end, where is the breakdown? What is really going on? Now, I tell you, in my case, I was so hungry and desperate and needy that I didn't want to heed the signs. I didn't see the red flags. This seller is not motivated. This seller doesn't have much of a problem. This meaning, if the house doesn't sell, it's not a big problem to them. This seller is not realistic. They can stay here for another 3, 4, 5 years, and it's okay with them. I didn't want to hear it. You know why? Because I was desperate. You know why? Because I was broke. And I allowed that mindset to seep in, make me nervous, make me insecure, make me low status, make me desperate. Has that ever happened to you? Say yes. So how do you fix it? Mindset, more leads, better appointments, more qualifying, more high status. Be very clear, who are your clients? Who do you want to work with? And if somebody is not motivated, if clearly, if you ask them a question, one of my favorite questions would be, John, Susan, let me ask you, if the house doesn't sell in the next, let's say, 6 to 12 months, what would happen? And then just listen. And what you want to pay attention to is not just words, but their reaction, their body language, their expression, their energy. Because they look like, oh, that's a good sign. Because that's clearly, that would create a painful, unpleasant, possible experience. And they say, well, no, we got to sell it. You know, my job transfer is kicking in 90 days. We got to move. Or we want that new home. You know, the builder is going to hold us for 30 days. Or I want to spend summer with my grandkids in Florida. Or whatever other reason they have. But it is not the reason itself. It's the emotional charge behind it, which is what we call, yes, CDE, core driving emotion. Because it's not the reason itself. It's the emotion behind it. That's the fuel. And if they don't have that, if there's no problem, if there's no emotional reaction, it's like, well, fuck it, we'll just stay. Or we can rent it out. It's no big deal. Major issue. And I didn't want to hear it, didn't want to see it. I want that listing. I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it. I'm going to take Patrick Adams' Las Vegas approach. You know how some people in Vegas, good luck. Hope, 7. Can't run a profitable business that way. Can't do that. So, good follow-up, qualifying the seller, asking the right questions, and they will love it. Because unlike every other agent who first thing they try to do is pounce on them and see if they can bamboozle them into getting the listing, you take your time and you say, well, before we decide to work together, there are some questions I would love to ask so that I understand and so that we both can decide, is this really a good relationship, will this work, and can I help you? See, I have this rule. My rule is I never work with clients who don't like me or I don't like, and I never list properties I know I can't sell. I only list homes I know I can sell and people that I like. So let's spend the next few minutes going over some questions, and I'm sure you have some questions for me as well before you come to my office. Did you catch that? Okay. So then you go through the qualifying. Ask 5, 6, 7, 8 qualifying questions, things you need to know before you can decide. Or just get mine. Get the Presentation Plus. Come do the path. I will teach you how to do that. Make sense? All right. Here is the path. So you get the Presentation Plus. I'll teach you how to do all that. We're going to spend 12 months building your business. It's a really good program. Go to goborino.com and check it out. All right.